talk of the town.
Disaster on the ocean floor. More than 100 Russians trapped aboard a submarine. Can they be saved? In Los Angeles, Clinton passing the torch to Gore, and a convention close-up with the First Lady. Hurricane warnings go up on the Gulf Coast, plus another CBS News exclusive on Firestone tires as a whistleblower goes public.
This is the CBS Evening News, with Dan Rather reporting from the Democratic National Convention in Los Angeles.
Good evening from the City of Angels, where demonstrators are gathering outside this hall now. We'll have the convention story in a moment. But first, high drama deep below the ocean. It sounds like the plot of a Cold War thriller, but it's very real tonight for more than 100 Russian sailors. They are trapped in a nuclear-powered submarine at the bottom of the sea. The sub is 460 feet long. It was engaged in exercises near the Arctic Circle yesterday when, according to Russian Navy officials, a collision of some kind sent it to the bottom. CBS coverage begins with David Hawkins in Moscow.
The Russian Navy says there are no nuclear weapons on board. The submarine's atomic reactors have been shut down, and there are no reports of radioactive leakage. But the prospects are grim for the Russian sailors seen here during a recent visit to base, but now trapped beneath nearly 500 feet of icy Arctic water. They are believed to be communicating with rescue ships by tapping out messages in Morse code. But Russia's top admiral says the chances of a positive outcome are not very high.
The Russian Navy is not as well equipped as it should be for submarine rescue. Over the years, it's allowed its capability to decay.
The Russian submarine Kursk sank to the floor of the Barents Sea yesterday after suffering heavy damage in what the Navy describes as a major collision with an object it did not identify. The sub had been taking part in naval exercises with other vessels in Russia's northern fleet. U.S. and other NATO warships routinely monitor Russian naval exercises, and there have been collisions in the past. A Russian Navy spokesman says a run-in with a foreign submarine is a likely explanation. And CBS News has learned that 2 American submarines were in the area. But the Kremlin isn't pointing any fingers. If it turns out the old Cold War game of cat and mouse did cause the accident, the sinking of the Kursk could become a dangerous international incident. David Hawkins, CBS News, Moscow.
Russian experts are reportedly using robots to study the sunken submarine to see if there's any way to use deep-sea rescue equipment. And now Pentagon officials are telling CBS's David Martin a U.S. sub reports the incident may have happened as early as Saturday.
Of the 2 American submarines monitoring the Russian exercise, one has reported actually hearing an underwater explosion, which may have been the accident. The other sub is not due to report in for several hours. So U.S. officials cannot rule out the possibility it collided with the Russian Oscar-class submarine, although they believe it was miles away. Officials also say they have received no distress signal from the American sub, which would be expected if it had been involved in a collision serious enough to send the Oscar to the bottom. The Oscar was operating in 300 to 600 feet of water, which for submarines is not very deep. U.S. officials say it could have collided with one of the 30 other Russian ships taking part in the exercise, or simply run into the bottom. When it hit bottom, the Oscar had